All right. Hi, good afternoon. How are you,
Hey,
Merianne? Good.
doing
Thank you.
great. How are you?
Doing good. Um, so today what we're going to do is we're going to just kind of talk through a little bit about your business and you, but before we get into all that, we have a few just kind of like get to know you questions. So if we can go over a couple of those just so that our listeners get to know who you are, and just kind of get to know the person of Merianne, and then we'll get to know the business of Merianne and go from there.
Sounds good.
So first question are you a dog or a cat person?
I'm a dog person.
Excellent. Do you own a dog?
I'm fostering a dog and I'm dog sitting my brother's dog. So
Nice. All right.
from no dogs to two dogs very quickly.
Very good. All right. And then are you a beach vacation or a mountain retreat type person?
Beach. I
Okay,
love beach.
same. 100%. It's just so much nicer, right? Just that breeze.
Well, I mean, they both have their pros and cons, but there's something about the rhythm of
Uh,
the ocean and the salt and the smell of
yeah.
and the sound of the seagulls and it's amazing.
Oh, yes, for sure. All right, very good. And then are you a morning or a night person?
Oh, that's a hard one because I'm very disciplined to get up in the mornings. But I do get, as soon as the sun goes down, I get a burst of energy and I'm very
Okay.
productive and energetic in the evenings.
So how much sleep do you get on average?
I get about 7 hours.
That's pretty
I
good.
protect my sleep unless, I'm heading into my period and then it's harder to sleep.
Sure.
Even
Sure.
though one of the cruel jokes about being a woman, I'm more exhausted when I'm about to get my period, but then, progesterone is sorry about that. Progesterone is, doing its thing and
Yep.
then can't sleep.
Yep. Yep.
But yeah, I do seem to be productive when the sun goes down. It's really weird. And I've noticed if I'm driving home and the sun's out and the sun is beating down on me, I'm like, I just want to fall asleep at the wheel. But then I get home and
Time to go.
I'm awake. Yeah.
Yeah. Does your husband share in all that energy of getting up
Um,
early, staying up a little bit?
he does get up early. He
Okay.
gets up earlier than me a lot of the time.
Okay.
Um, but this man can fall asleep in seconds,
Isn't
no
that
matter
remarkable?
what, and no matter where.
Yes.
And he doesn't move around. I really got lucky.
Oh my gosh, I love that. My husband will roll over and be like, I'm tired. And then all of a sudden, like, you're snoring already? Like, we literally just rolled over. I don't know how you're snoring already. I love that. All right. And then we'll do two more. Are you a summer or a winter person? What's your preferred
Winter,
season? Which
totally
one?
winter.
Yeah.
I used to be opposite, but now I love the winter.
Okay. Are you like, you prefer to be cold over
Oh
hot
yeah,
kind of a thing? Okay.
yeah, because you can do something about it. You can put on layers.
Yeah.
When it's hot, there ain't nothing you can
You only
do.
take off so much. I love it. And then lastly, are you a cooking at home type of gal or a dining out?
Cooking at home, we
Mm,
rarely dine out, very
okay,
rarely.
very
Just
good.
um whenever we dine, not whenever, but many times when we dine out, you just never know what they're putting in it. And I end up with a stomach ache
Yeah,
sometimes. And
true.
quality of the ingredients is just not going to match the quality that I have at home.
Yeah,
And over the years of cooking, I've practiced enough that I'm pretty darn good at it.
that's
So
awesome.
we eat here like we're eating at a restaurant.
That's
And
awesome.
it's
I
fun.
love
I
that.
actually enjoy it. It's a creative process.
Exactly.
Food industry with this propaganda over the last 50 years has been very successful at trying to convince the American cook that cooking is a chore and that you don't want to do it. And that's just not real. It's
Yeah,
fun, it's creative.
yeah, you definitely can have a lot of fun with that. That's for sure. Well, very good. Okay, so now I just want to find out from you. Tell us a little bit about just you, what inspired you to start your business, kind of the beginning point of the story, and we'll kind of work our way through what your story is and who you are today.
Sure. Well, what inspired me? Well, since I was 19, I wanted to be an entrepreneur.
Mm.
I didn't like having to answer to a boss like they were my mom and dad.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just leaving home and having to answer to somebody, and then I was like, no, I don't want to boss.
Yeah,
So I've been an
exactly.
entrepreneur since very young, and I've tried, a few different network marketing, direct sales type of endeavors, and learned a lot of very valuable skills that I use today. But I also in that experience, I realized that I still wanted to be more independent than that. And I didn't want to have a company, and their decision-making determine what my fate was. And I know I've networked with a lot of people who are in those direct marketing companies, and they'll be doing really great and everything is, money everywhere. And then they change the comp plan and it's disaster. So I don't ever want to be in that position.
Yeah.
So I've always wanted to be an entrepreneur. And then I've always really geeked out on nutrition in particular. And, I took a class in college on nutrition, but every time I asked myself if I should be a dietitian or a nutritionist, the intuition was like, no, you don't want to operate in that medical model. I saw that the system is quite dysfunctional and I didn't want to operate within that. I never wanted to deal with health insurance, billing, all that crap.
Yeah.
And so I just did it as a hobby, just researched it for my own benefit and my family's benefit. I really got deep into it when I was started to have children and really just educate myself on what was going on in the food industry, our food environment, and try to take control as best I can of my own food environment.
This is why you love cooking, huh?
Yeah. And I want to be healthy.
Yeah.
I saw people in my country, the health was declining rapidly. And I thought, is this my future? Is this what is beckoning me in the future? And I didn't have that.
Yeah.
So I wanted to, be in control as I could of my own outcomes. And so I started cleaning up my diet and, little by little started, exchanging junk food for real food. And I noticed a difference in the way I felt. I noticed a difference in my moods and my energy. Just my whole body felt better. And I didn't have a lot of the same health outcomes as many people that I know. And my husband as well. So my husband's a twin and his twin doesn't look like him anymore because he hasn't had me feeding him for 18 years.
Yeah, interesting.
And when my husband, he was in the military, he went to Cuba. He was deployed for 10 months and he came back with a little belly.
Like,
Oh!
like, not who I married.
No, but he lost it really quick because I was cooking for him.
Yeah.
So anyway, so somebody told me what a health coach was. And I was like, oh, okay, that's operating outside of the medical model. I could do that. So I went to health coaching school and loved it. I loved learning all the things. And after that, I wanted to get a more, deep domain expertise in nutrition. So I went for my holistic nutrition certification, which was like getting a PhD. And it was very, very useful. But when I was working with clients in the health coaching arena, I found that I didn't enjoy it that much like I used to. And I enjoyed more the mindset part. Gotcha. And the more research that I did into all the studies that we have documenting the placebo effect, I realized, oh, if I want to have a really, profound impact in people's lives, instead of focusing on the physical, which, symptoms and pathologies have a root cause in the physical, a very small amount of the time. If I want to have a more profound impact in people's lives, I should focus on more of the root cause, which is psycho-emotion. Gotcha. So that's what I rebranded as a life coach a few years back. And I was doing the life coaching, still integrating, of course, what I knew, my expertise in health coaching and nutrition. But I also noticed a trend when I was working with people. And that trend was people were experiencing physical symptoms or weight gain as a result of stress. And a lot of times that stress was in connection with a close personal relationship. And since I had gone through so much in my own relationship a few years back, we had to completely light a match and torch the previous relationship because it was not working. I was very, very stressed out because of it. Here I was showing up as a health coach and my body was completely falling apart because of the stress. And we got the guidance and the mentorship that we needed to be able to face our issues head on and address them and heal them. And as soon as we started on that healing journey, all my symptoms went away.
Wow.
My body just healed.
That's cool.
We're talking 2 years of an autoimmune condition gone. So, that was really powerful for me. So that was my own personal testimony. And then I had the tools in my toolkit to be able to help people with their relationships too.
Yeah.
So when we discovered that there was a dysfunctional relationship, I would just help them with that. And lo and behold,
Mm.
it would fall right off. The symptoms would clear up.
Mhm. Interesting.
So that's been the journey.
Nice. No, I love that. That's good. I feel like there's so much value when you have your own personal, like when you've experienced it yourself and how it's deeply impacted you. And it kind of creates this passion within you, and you have to, in order, I think, to be effective at what you're doing, um, not only just believe in it, but like live it, you know what I mean? As it's an
Yeah,
active part of your life.
absolutely. Because like when I was health coaching, I'd never lost 60 pounds,
Mm,
you know?
yeah.
Like, so there wasn't that passion.
Yeah.
And now I definitely do. Like there's no, it's like I died and I
Mm,
came back to life as a totally different person. My previous self could not show up to work consistently, could not show up
okay.
for my business consistently, always had an excuse to not do the things. And now I have a full-time job and I always show up.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. So with that being said, what is it exactly that the services that you offer? What would you call your business, and how do others benefit from when they're with you, and what does that look like?
Okay. So the main service that I'm marketing myself as is the relationship fairy.
Okay.
So
Nice.
people hire me who are experiencing loads of stress
Mhm.
and some physical manifestations of that stress. They are, they've tried everything that they can think of to try to reestablish trust and connection in whatever relationship. It doesn't necessarily have to be a romantic relationship. It can be
Sure.
a parent, an aging parent. It can be an in-law. It can be a boss.
Right. Right.
And I've even had people hire me in the wake of divorce to deconstruct the relationship to find out what happened, why it happened, and how to not recreate it
Mm,
in the next relationship that they pursue.
gotcha.
So all kinds of relationships. And so yeah, what happens is we work on their perceptions,
Mm,
the programs that are running the background in them that cause them to show up in relationships the way they show up, that
mm,
cause them to respond slash react to what another person does in relationship, and causes them to play their part in creating a dysfunctional dynamic.
mhm.
And when they can change their perceptions, they show up differently.
Yeah.
They show up differently. Their partner notices, right? Their boss notices, whoever it is,
Yeah.
they notice, okay, something's different. In the beginning, I always tell my clients this, in the beginning, it will seem to make things worse.
Mhm.
That's because change is hard, even if
Yeah.
it's positive change.
Mhm.
And people who are used to getting their needs met by walking through a particular door, once that door is closed, right, you're not participating anymore in the dysfunctional
Right.
pattern dynamic,
Right.
people will throw a tantrum,
Mhm.
right? That door closes, they're going to bang on the door.
Yep. Yep.
But once they realize, oh, the door really is shut, I really can't open this door, people are very adaptable. They look around and they look for another open door.
Yeah.
And that's usually what happens. Not always. Some people decide, oh, okay, we're playing a different game. I don't want to learn new rules. I'm out.
Right. Sure.
And they just leave. But
Mhm.
most people decide, I have enough invested in this relationship.
Mhm.
I can learn some new rules.
Yeah, that's awesome. No, it's a great perspective on that. I think I could totally, I mean, I think of all my relationships and or people that I know that are either going through divorce or different things, and like how much of that where I'm like, man, like pinpointing where it went wrong, and how it then spiraled from that. Like,
Yeah.
how do you manage that? Yeah, no, that's great. I
Yeah,
love
well, and
that.
it's one circumstance at a time, unfortunately. A lot of
Yeah,
people think we can wax philosophical and generalize about the way we generally view the relationship,
right.
and it doesn't really work that way. It has to be one thought at a time or one circumstance at a time. How did you
Sure.
perceive what was going on?
Mm.
And then how did your perception of what was going on lead to the result you didn't want?
Sure, sure. Okay. Have you ever done anything like hearing you talk about that, and even in like a boss, coworker type situation? Have you ever done, like almost like a company hire where you come in and work with employees within a business? I feel like that, I mean, interpersonal and with like relationship stuffs and marriage and whatnot, has obviously that seems like it is perfect for that. But I almost think about, like, I think of my husband and some of the struggles of relationships there at work. And he is a very laid back, easygoing guy. But I think of some of the personalities where even he'll struggle with it. And like, have you ever done that where you go into like a business situation and setting?
No, I haven't, but I kind of dabbled with the idea in some
Yeah.
conversations that I've been having recently. And that a lot of that was sparked by an interview I watched of Simon Sinek. I don't know if you're
Okay.
familiar.
I have
He's
heard.
a business leader and
Mhm.
he follows a lot of trends in business. Okay. And he was talking about how these days, because of the way our culture has shifted, people are very isolated. We're
Mhm.
connected, but we're not
Right.
connected, right?
Yeah.
And people don't have multi-dimensional lives anymore. They
Mm.
have very two-dimensional lives. So they have work and then they go home and scroll TikTok and go to sleep and get up and go to work,
Sure.
go home and scroll TikTok and go to sleep,
Mhm.
right? They don't have their bowling league like
Right.
everybody did in the 70s and
Yep.
80s. They don't have their church community. A lot of people don't go to church anymore. They
Yep.
don't have this web, this connected community web where
Mm.
they can get their emotional needs met by more than just one person.
Sure.
Okay. And so they go to work
Mhm.
and they treat the most emotionally intelligent person on the team as their therapist.
Yes. Yeah.
And that person gets burnt out and quits
Mm.
because everybody's bringing all their heavy stuff to them.
Mm. That's
So
so
it would be very useful in the corporate setting
yeah. Yeah.
to help that emotionally intelligent person to put up some boundaries,
Sure.
right? And then give the other people who are leaning on them too much some tools and some resources to meet their needs in other ways.
Mhm. Yeah, no, I think, gosh, that might be a future. I was going to ask you about your future plans eventually here, but that might be something I could see that being a huge benefit. That's for sure. Yeah,
Mm.
very cool. So maybe somebody just rang my doorbell, so don't mind that in the background here. And Faith, come on, girlfriend. Um, sorry.
I can't even hear it, which
Oh,
is
seriously?
cool because my dog does that sometimes
Oh,
too. So it's good to know that there's this there's this setting on Zoom that reduces
oh.
background noise. Okay, I heard that one.
Okay. I'm like, she is barking like a crazy dog over here. Everly, leave her alone, okay? Sorry about that. All right. Well, what we're going to just broach into that real fast is about what's your future? What do you see yourself next for your business? Do you see yourself just continuing in the path that you're currently on? Or do you think that like you might have an idea within the corporate world of like how to maybe add into certain features to your business? Do you see yourself going with all that?
The corporate world might be something further off. Right now, I'm in the process of developing a podcast
Nice.
with partner, so it's going to be a dual host podcast, and then I'm also in the process of developing some group coaching programs. So
Hmm,
at the moment, I just do one-on-one, and I think I'll always do one-on-one coaching because I
sure.
really enjoy it.
Yeah.
But I want it to have a business that fits my life. My base, number one priority is my family
Sure.
and my kids are home during the summer and I don't
Yes.
want to be ignoring them all summer.
Yes.
So I'm developing I'm calling them summer camps,
Okay.
and there will be some group coaching programs for single men, single women, married
Nice.
men, married women, coming up in beginning of June through end
Nice.
of July.
Very cool. Oh, that sounds great. Nice. Okay. And then what about in terms of your business journey? What would you say have been some of the points where you've seen that you've done pivots? So coming up here, we're going to have a panel coming up and you get to join us on that panel. Um, and it's going to be all about like how we pivot in businesses and how if you don't pivot, you're often going to be undertaken by what is going over you. And so just the idea of where did you see along your journey? Obviously, we've heard a few of those little points, but how did you see those like impact you? And like in your mind, if you can recall, where did you say I was here? And then you were like, you know what? This is the moment I have to make this shift and I'm going to make it here for this reason. Give us a little bit of that.
Well, recently there was a pivot that I made. So going along with the designing my business to fit my life,
Mhm.
I thought, okay, I only want to do one-on-one coaching when the kids are in school. So that's a 11-month or 10-month thing, right?
Sure.
And then do groups in the summer. So what I did is I switched my coaching program from a 3-month and 6-month
Mm.
option to a 10-month option. And then the next month it would be a 9-month option. And then the next month it was an 8-month option.
Oh,
That doesn't work for every client though.
sure, sure.
And sometimes we get the goal finished in under 3 months.
Mm,
And
mhm.
so recently I had a guy, like I said, hired me post-divorce to kind of deconstruct the relationship. And in 10 sessions, he had his result that he wanted. So I was like, okay, I need to change this. And I
Yeah.
put back a 3-month program, and I'm only going to offer the 3-month program during the school year. Another thing was when I went full time with my business, when the kids went back to school after being off school for the pandemic,
Mm.
I achieved really quick success, filled my practice using only one tool of marketing, and that was Thumbtack.
Mm.
And I knew that putting all my eggs in that one marketing basket was not smart
Okay.
and not safe, right? And I had thought, okay, I need to start doing other things. I need to network. So I started networking, and I did get clients through networking, but the majority of my business was still coming from Thumbtack. And then, of course, inevitably, Thumbtack changed some of their business practices, and my ROI just tanked.
Okay.
The lead quality was going down, and the cost was going up.
Mm.
So I was like, okay, I need to pivot. And the first thing that I did, I pivoted with the energy of fear and frantic, like, oh no, right? And of course, that pivot was a disaster. It was a
Sure.
very costly one. And I learned a lesson on that one.
Sometimes we need those too.
Yep. And so recently I've just really pivoted my strategy for networking. And I just got a client on Friday from networking.
Nice.
And I hired somebody to market me on TikTok, which I had been resisting doing TikTok
Interesting.
because of all the privacy stuff and company and all that stuff.
Okay.
But once I finally just got past that objection, like my TikTok's just been blowing up, and I've been getting tons of leads and tons of engagement, and yeah, all kinds of.
So sometimes those things stepping outside of our comfort zone / where we feel like we want to be, sometimes is where you just gotta be.
Yep.
Very good. Oh, I love that. That's awesome. So here is a bonus question for you. Let's see. In your opinion, what is more valuable for an entrepreneur, mentorship or partnership? And then why?
That's
I know you've done a little bit of both of those.
Well, I haven't really done partnership. I mean, I have
Okay.
partnered with companies,
In terms of networking, kind of in that way.
As far as like referral partners, that's kind of a different kind of partnership.
Sure.
I don't think I have enough experience with partnership per se
Okay.
to be able to answer the question with any kind of experiential knowledge.
Right.
But I do really benefit from mentorship. I have a coach. I've had 2 coaches actually.
Sure.
And you can't see what you can't see. And coaches help you see your blind spots. And then, well, coaches and mentors are different, right? So mentors are people who have gone before you in the same industry or similar industry, right? And that is huge, because then you can benefit from their mistakes and avoid the pitfalls that they fell into.
Sure. Yeah.
Right. That is just priceless, in my opinion. And then coaches, you don't have to have any experience in the industry that somebody's in to help them find their blind spots and consider things they didn't consider.
That's awesome.
And face the things they don't want to face.
And how do you know, like, how do you pick a good coach, let's say, and how did you find your coach, and what made you decide that was the route to go?
That's a really good question. I think a lot of my decisions are informed by intuition. I really practice with asking myself and then going with the answer and not waffling and not overanalyzing it to death. I go with what my body tells me is the answer, and it usually works out.
Nice.
My first coach that I hired, she's a coach for coaches, and she is very assertive. She curses. So that was like, okay, this person's honest. Oh, and the biggest selling point for me on her was her biggest deal is clean selling. She wants to be totally clean. And I've experienced having a mentor in a direct sales company that didn't feel so clean.
And what do you mean by clean? Exactly.
Having just total integrity. There's nothing hidden.
Sure.
Total transparency, clean selling. That was the biggest deal for me. And she still continues to deliver massive amounts of value to this day.
Awesome.
Totally worth the money that I spent with her. And then my other coach that I hired, she was a calm, very certain presence.
Mm,
And she was also assertive,
mm,
like I am too, right? She was not a people pleaser. She was not afraid to call me out on my BS.
sure.
And that's what you really, really need in a coach or even a therapist. A lot of people come to me saying, I'm not challenged by my therapist. She just listens to me.
Mm.
And, in my opinion, we really need to be challenged.
Yeah. And I think there's an aspect of that, even as on the receiving end of that, um, being willing to take a challenge from your coach and being coachable. I think
Yes.
that plays into a big part of that if you're looking for a coach. And
Right.
yeah, that's huge. So
Yeah. Some people are looking for a coach and they're not really looking for a coach,
they're
right? They
looking for
don't,
somebody just to listen to them. Yeah.
or they're looking for somebody to fix all their problems and not do
Yeah.
the work.
Sure.
Not how it
That
works.
makes sense. Yeah. All right. So then in closing, just give me, if there anything that like we haven't discussed that you'd like to share, just we have a whole Hummingbird Network not audience that's here and hopefully up over 1,000 women. What is something that either is your ask or something that is just helpful that you think would be that we didn't already talk about that you would want to share with everybody?
Well, my ask would be to follow me on social media.
Mm-hmm.
Follow me on
What is
TikTok.
that social media link?
My TikTok is, I think I'm just Merianne Drew.
Okay.
That's spelled MER,
Mm-hmm.
just one R,
Yep.
IANNE.
Okay.
And then on Instagram, it's Mary Andrew Coaching. And on Facebook, it's Mary Andrew Coaching.
Okay.
And go to my website, maryandrew.com.
Mm-hmm.
Play around on there, increase my SEO.
Okay. All right.
What else? What else haven't we covered?
I did want to know, like, tell us about your family. I don't know why I didn't ask that in your introduction about that's a huge part of who you are and what makes you who you are. So tell us about them a little bit.
So I've been married 18 years to my wonderful, charming, handsome husband. And he was in the army for 20 years and he recently left the army, retired out of there. And he really likes to do engineering type things. So he does maintenance, building stuff,
Nice.
drawing stuff, fixing stuff. He
Very-
likes to be the hero and swoop in and fix it. And
There you go.
there you go, I saved you.
I love
So,
it.
and it's nice, it's sure nice to have a guy that's handy to fix
Yeah,
things.
for sure.
And then I have 3 children.
Mhm.
They're 13, 11, and 9, a boy and
Okay.
2 girls. And they're just always teaching me
Yeah.
about myself and showing me all my blind spots.
I think they're some of our greatest teachers right there. Yeah.
Yes, and they're so much fun and funny, and yeah, it's just the greatest adventure. I think our culture really lies to women
Mm.
when they say that your career will be as fulfilling as raising a family, and they don't even come close.
Yeah.
And projected numbers are that in, I think it's 20 years, 30% of women under 30 will be single and childless, and
Wow.
90% of them will regret it. Actually, I
Wow.
think it's higher. I think it's close to 50% projections.
Wow.
90% of them will regret not having a family.
Wow.
And if you look at the statistics, and I was one of them.
Mhm.
I was one of those women who completely bought the propaganda, and I did not want to have a family. I knew I wanted to be married, but I did not want to have kids because I knew what a huge responsibility it was. And I'm really, really glad that I felt the fear and did it anyway and had a family,
Yeah.
because women, they hit their late 30s and they go, oh my gosh, this is not making me feel like I expected it to feel.
Yeah.
And then scrambling to try to have a family, and that's late in the game.
Yeah.
And it's not fun to face that reality.
Okay.
So I'm really grateful that I did that,
That's awesome.
because I love being a mom.
Very good. Well, I'm sure you do a great job of it too. So I can just tell. All right. Well, if there's anything else you want to share with us, we're almost out of time on our 40 minutes, I believe. So give me anything else that you want to do, and then make sure I'll have you text me all of your handles of
Okay.
TikTok and just your website, so we can make sure that we add those to the link of this.
Okay.
And then this way everyone has an opportunity to reach out to you and get in touch with you however they best do that. So anything
Okay.
else you want to share?
I love to go to karaoke with my brother and my family.
Nice.
I do sing at church. I help lead the songs or whatever on stage.
Nice.
And I love to snowboard.
Oh,
I
very
should do it
good.
more often, but it's
So
my
where do you go to
favorite.
snowboard?
Just up north to Flagstaff, or
Okay.
it's just a short 3-hour drive.
Okay.
And it's really good powder,
That's
and
awesome.
it's a great it's great workout.
Yeah, it
Right,
is.
right out of the heat. And it feels like a meditation to me. It feels like flying.
Nice. Oh, I love that. And you ski, not snowboard.
No, I snowboard.
Oh, you snowboard, not ski. Okay, there it is. Okay. Yes. That's awesome. I love that. And where do you go to church?
I go to church at Unity of Mesa, which is where I teach a bi-monthly class for free.
Oh, cool.
And well, I lead a meeting. So
Okay.
we talk about relationships. It's called Creating Harmonious Relationships. It's on the first and third Sunday of the month.
Nice.
And it's from 12:15 to whenever we wrap up the conversation.
Oh, great.
It's just what's going on in your relationships,
Nice.
what isn't working, and how can we make them work.
That's awesome. Do you have any other like workshops or different things going on for you right now in the next few weeks here?
I'm working on marketing it properly, but
Okay.
when I'm trying to get started on regularly, and I have it on my calendar, it's just nobody else knows that I'm showing up for it
Sure.
because I did it properly. It's called 15-minute mastery, and it's just on your lunch break, have a quick webinar for 15 minutes, learn something valuable on how to optimize everything in your life, not just your relationships.
Nice. And is it something that you can drop in on, or is it a specific lunchtime, like you see it live kind of a thing?
It's live, but if you register for it, you can watch it later. I think
Okay.
it saves it for like 24, 48 hours.
Oh, cool. Okay. Very good. Very
Yeah,
nice.
so I need to just market that.
Pull
That's on
that
my
trigger and
list.
go.
Yeah.
There you go. I love it. All righty. Anything else?
I think that's it.
Pretty good.
Oh, one more thing.
Tell us.
People ask me, and I thought you were gonna you started to ask me this and then it went somewhere
Okay.
else.
I might have shifted.
A lot of people ask me, okay, so then you work with both people in a couple, right?
Mm-hmm.
No. In
Okay.
fact, I prefer not to work with both people in a couple.
Okay.
I prefer to work with one, and I can help turn a relationship around just working with one person.
So as in like not just couples therapy together, but as in like individually meeting with each spouse, you don't typically meet with both of them separately. It's only one side of it and the other one would kind of go do something else.
Yeah.
If you choose to.
If they choose to, yeah.
Okay.
But
Why?
they don't, I mean, if they're still game for learning a new game, right? They have to figure out new rules because the other one's not participating in the old
Right.
game.
Yeah.
So they often follow suit, or they do go get somebody to help them.
Okay. Why do you not like to do both sides of that relationship?
It gets really convoluted.
Mm,
And yeah, that's just the main reason. It just gets really convoluted, and
okay.
yeah, that's the best way I can explain it.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I could see like not trying to play either side of the favoritism or preference, or the other one thinking that your preference being a preference
Yes,
over the other. And I could see that being a conflict.
it could be. And that's why I like to coach men and women as well, because I realize that if I were to only coach men, I might end up biased against women or vice versa.
Mm,
So
okay.
I don't just market to one gender or
Sure.
the other.
And do you have somebody that you kind of team and partner with, that if like a couple comes to you and is like, we both want to work on this, do you have somebody that you kind of work hand in hand with, or you can recommend that they go seek that and then you guys kind of do your own thing with each person, or?
No, I haven't really come across that
Mm-hmm.
as of yet. I do have one couple that I do work with, but usually not at the same time.
Sure.
So I worked with her for like a year, and now I'm working with him.
Okay. So kind of
And
after you're done with one.
yeah, not necessarily at the same time. Every once in a while she'll have a session, but it's not really the relationship that we're working on. She wants help with her business or
Sure.
something seemingly unrelated. But
Okay.
I don't have a relationship coach that I refer. I have other life coaches that I refer to,
Mm,
especially if somebody wants to work on weekends or evenings. I don't
sure.
do that. And so I will
Makes
refer
sense.
to life coaching. And life coaching is really, really similar.
Mm,
I mean, it's almost indistinguishable.
gotcha.
Um, So yeah, that would be a really good idea actually for me to find, actually, I'm gonna write that down. So I just partnered with a company called Go Love.
Okay.
Forgot. So Go Love is just a platform where you can find a relationship coach specifically,
Mhm.
just relationship coaches. And there's plenty of them on there. So sure I could do some one-on-ones and create some relationships where we can refer back and forth.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Well, there you go. Another little moving
Okay.
forward for the future tool here.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, very good. Well, thank you so much for sharing with us today and for just being part of this group. I know that you've been such a great asset to just your knowledge and your understanding of things. And we've really appreciated your input over the last few weeks. And we just look forward to what's going on in the future here with the Hummingbird Network and hopefully looking to just grow our Facebook base. But then also we have the meetup group that we're a part of and we do all that stuff on there. But sometimes Facebook is a little bit more personal and a little bit more daily rather than just individual meetings. So if you want to join that group at all, and after hearing all of these details, and we'll be doing more of these little interviews over the next number of months as we go here, and just to kind of get to know all the different members that are within our group. So thank you for sharing with us today. And
For having me.
Angela will come through and she's going to do her magic with all of our Zoom stuff and give little sneak peeks and teasers along the way. So hopefully that'll go out real
And
soon.
I'm really glad that I found the Hummingbird Network. It's tons of value and very thoughtfully done. So,
Well, thanks. We appreciate that. All righty. Well, you guys have a good afternoon and we'll see you at the next meeting.
okay, see you then.